Hey, everybody! Welcome to Professor Bats and Friends. You are live on the show.
Hey, buddy.
Oh, let's see. Looks like, are we live?
Yeah,
Are we live?
it says live.
Are we live? Are we live? Looks like we're live. All right. We'll find it. What is going on, everybody?
What's happening?
What is happening?
How y'all is?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you, Tony?
I'm doing good, buddy.
Yeah.
I am doing good. Yep.
Doing pretty good. Yeah, how was your last week? How was your last week?
Well, it was pretty uneventful, really. I mean, just kind of getting ready for the trip. We got some snow last night, so anyway.
Yeah.
That's no big projects or anything in the garage this weekend.
Well, that's good. That's kind of odd for a Jeep owner not to have any projects going on.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Gen Xers in the house, as always.
Hey.
Appreciate you being here. This was the opening weekend of deer season. And so as a tradition, since I was the age of 6, my dad and I went to, I was this bitty.
Since you were a little one?
My dad and I went down to South Arkansas, down to Camden Way, and we deer hunted a little bit. Saturday morning, Dad got him a big one, real nice one, and then Sunday morning, didn't get nothing. I was sitting on the ground, and I had a doe come within 5 feet of me, never saw me, and it was the craziest thing. I wish I could have got my camera up, took a picture, because she was looking me right in the face.
Hold still.
Yep.
Take a picture.
That's what she would have done. That's what she would have done. Richard Brown is in the house. Appreciate you being here. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We're glad that you're here. So anyway, I came home with 2 deer in the ice chest, and I spent all last night till about 10:30 cutting up deer. I got over 100 steaks just out of back straps.
Yes.
And so the rest of it's going for breakfast sausage and summer sausage. And so I'll be taking that on a lot of trips with me. So hit me up if you're ever out there. I'm sure I'll have some.
Nice.
But anyway, it was a pretty amazing time. I love spending that time with my dad, in the outdoors. That's kind of the only thing we do outdoorsy anymore. And so anyway, had a little day at work today, and then here we are on this nice Taco Tuesday.
We did have a birthday party, and we had 10 teenagers.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
Stay Saturday night sleepover.
And you stayed there?
On purpose. Yeah.
Man, I just don't know how you do it.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it. Because when my girls were that age, when they were like 11, 12, it was like Scream Fest. It's what it was. It was worse than being at a Justin Bieber concert. I couldn't deal with it.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. They had a good time. So
yeah, well, good. We got half of the Lady Overland Radio team that's going to be in the Rebel Rally. Misty is on here, Barefoot Overlanding.
Hey, Misty.
Yes, Richard. He is brave. Yeah. Definitely brave for taking on those 12-year-old girls. I don't know how he does it.
What we got to do.
Well, do what you got to do. You're a good dad. You're a good dad, Tony. I give it to you.
I try.
Yeah, well, next week, both of us have planned adventures in different places. You're going southeast, and I'm going west. So,
yeah.
Gia, thanks for being on here. How are you? Appreciate you commenting on there
Hey.
on the YouTube.
Yeah. So
Yeah, you're going to Florida.
Yeah.
Is that where you said you're going down
Yeah.
there with Misty and Joe?
Yeah. Me
Yeah.
and Arla and Joe and Misty. Well, Joe's already actually on his way there or already there or something.
Yeah.
Sort of on the way. I think he was maybe holding up, waiting for the weather to blow through from that hurricane. But
How did the hurricane hit down there? Was it okay? You really should know this before you go down there.
I should know this.
I
Yeah.
mean, if all the trees are laying down and everything's underwater, I think I would want to know that before I drove 1,000 miles down there.
Yeah, we'll adapt. We'll
Improvise, overcome, adapt.
We'll improvise. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Nathan Anderson, the Overland photographer.
The Nathan Anderson is in the house.
Well, I'm going to Santa Fe, New Mexico, leaving Friday. It is going to be cold.
Yeah.
So stinking cold. I think highs are in the 20s, lows are in the like 5 and 6 single digits. So it ought to be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know why anybody would want to go to Florida when they can go to, New Mexico to sleep in 6 degrees.
Well, my mom always said, son, you just ain't too bright. So I'm just proving it right every day. Just proving it right. Missy said it was a baby hurricane, so that's good. I think we call those tropical storms.
Yeah.
So maybe it was just a baby hurricane. Maybe it didn't do no.
Yeah.
But I'm going to see a lot of the stuff like what we've been talking about. I have researched and made a list of all the local grocery stores.
Yeah.
All the local attractions. I've researched the diners, drive-ins, and dives places that I want to go. The Santa Fe National Forest, some national parks. I'm just going to cram about 30 days worth of stuff into 5 days.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, that'd be all right.
We'll see how it goes. I think it'll be fun.
Are you taking any food with you, or are you just going to eat?
I'm going to take a little bit of food, but I'm going to buy some food while I'm there.
Yeah.
And, because of all this deer that I killed and I'm having to do, I actually had to buy a freezer today. So my deer is going to take up half the freezer and the other half I'm saving for New Mexican food. Now we have the other half of the Rebel Rally team, Lady Overland Radio. Arla is in the house. Thank you, Arla, for being in the same house as Tony and still wanting to be there with him. So
yes.
This was your one break to get away from him, but yet you have chose to come on here with him, and that shows the love.
She just walked in the door from work, so that's, we appreciate her support.
She is one amazing lady, unless she tweaks her knee in a kayak, and then she's not fun to be around.
No.
So anyway, I think we got some pretty amazing weeks next week. So we haven't really talked about whether we're going to have the show next week. I don't know if I'll have service. I don't know if you'll have service. I don't know if we'll get together. So we'll let everybody know if we're having the show next week. We appreciate y'all coming on here and supporting us, Team 185. That's right.
Yes, they got registered. The formality is done. They got registered, and that's their team number.
That is so cool. So cool. Well, we're going to get to talking about our topic here in just one second, but we're going to take a minute to talk about one of our sponsors. Check it out.
It's now time for the Sponsor Spotlight, talking about all the products, services, events, and businesses that we use and love. Here we go.
So this week we're talking about our sponsor, Timbo Tusk.
Timbo Tusk.
Now, do you use Timbo Tusk, Tony?
I do. I sure do.
I've got a few things for me on your Timbo Tusk.
Have I? Maybe. Yeah. Probably.
I think down in Texas you cooked a few things on it. Yeah. We've been on so many trips now you can't even remember.
It's just like, habit. Grab the Timbo Tusk bottle and set it up, and I don't know. It's just like a robot,
Just like a robot. It's just one of the automatic things that come out.
That's right.
What it is. Well, I've used the Timbo Tusk for several years now, And you and I were very privileged to be able to sit down with Jerry LeCure, who started Timbo Tusk back in 2010. We sat down with him at a little eating joint at More Expo. It was like the day before More Expo started.
Yeah.
All the vendors got there a day early. We had dinner, and he sat right across from us and bought us drinks, and just a super guy. I mean, a down to earth guy who's got such great stories, talking about how Timbo Tusk started out with a need. He saw something that he wanted, he built it. Somebody else liked it, so he had to build another one. Somebody else liked it, so he had to build another one. Then he talked about all the discs that he had shipped to his garage, and he was building all these disc cookers in his garage. I mean, such amazing stories.
Yeah.
And
Mr. Jerry's cool. He's a cool
he
guy.
He is such a cool guy. And, I love mom and pop businesses, and he has really done a really good job of keeping that a mom and pop local United States made business. And I just love it. Their disc cookers, their tables, their fire pits, the rest of their gear is top notch.
Yeah.
And I have fell in love. I've used their regular Timbo Tusk scuttle for a long time, but I have fell in love with the adventure scuttle.
I know.
And it is so freaking neat. And it's little bitty. It's like this big around, and it's perfect for just one person. And I just sit there in my chair and I just cook whatever I want. And I absolutely love it.
When we were on the Buffalo last time, I saw you sitting over there in your chair and you were just cooking right there by the river. And I thought, you know what? I may have to get one of those too.
Yeah. Well, I've got the regular scuttle, and I've got the adventure scuttle, and I've got their table. And, we actually went and helped Jerry unload his booth and set his booth up there at More Expo. And he was just so nice and appreciative, and just really got to know him well. And I'm very thankful for that, because he's like a superstar.
He loaded all of his stuff and drove from California all the way to More Expo.
By himself.
Yeah.
And he's not a young cat.
No.
I mean, he's getting on up there. So, I mean, for him to do all that and just to be so nice about everything and so personable, to talk to us little people. I mean, he hangs out with the big guys, the big guns, and they all use his stuff. And, so that's pretty cool. Amy, good to see you, Amy. Lady on Toyotas.
In the house.
Coming to you from just outside of Plummerville with all the goats and the chickens.
That's right.
And the little French bulldog that they just got. So anyway, we are talking about extracurricular activities while you're overlanding. And we have covered a little bit of everything up to this point. We have covered shopping. We've covered national parks and state parks, and getting out and just enjoying what you love doing. And last week we talked about fishing and backpacking and bike packing and all this other stuff that you can do, and making sure that you have your rig ready to carry all these things. And it seems like every year my list grows of things that I like to do. And, I've gotten in shape, and I got into the backpacking thing, and I went on my backpacking trip, and I just absolutely love it. And I'm ready to go again. And then Chris from Trail Ready Coffee talks to me about bike packing. And now oh my gosh, can I add one more thing? I don't have a very big house, and it's just full of stuff.
Now you got this big old fancy bicycle.
I got this bicycle that I'm trying to outfit with racks and bags, and it'll probably be so heavy I won't be able to pedal it.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll find a really nice downhill trail that I won't have to pedal. We can just start at the top and end at the bottom, and that'll be perfect for me.
Like those ski slopes you were talking about?
Like the ski slopes. Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So anyway, my list just keeps growing. And, whatever you like to do, relaxing, getting out, enjoying nature and whatever, there's so many ways to experience the outdoors. And this week, I am so excited because we're covering more things that I just absolutely love. And I know some of these things you're into as well. And it is going to be a pretty amazing talk. Like always. Like always. Isn't it always?
Right. It is.
Here we are. Before we get into it, I'll remind you of what you're watching. You're watching Professor Bats.
You're watching Professor Bats and Friends, sponsored by Artemis Overland Hardware, Timbo Tusk, Lifesaver Water Filters, Trail Rated Coffee, More Expo, Linson Solar, Big Iron Overland Rally, Tacform Mounts, Midland Radios, EcoFlow, MC Ranch Overland, Snowmaster Fridges, Mountain Hatch, Dow Dynamics Lighting, in a partnership with Natural State Overland, and always supporting our good friends at Oscar Mike and Blue Line Overland. Thank you for watching the show. Here we go.
Here we go, talking about extracurricular activities. And once again, I'm not talking about the obvious things, like talking about building or rigs or collecting gear, which apparently I'm addicted to.
Yeah.
Or just camping or relaxing around the fire. We all like to do that,
Right.
Being around the fire, that's when the sun goes down,
Yeah.
And coon hunting, you do that when the sun goes down too. But true activities that you enjoy. So this week we're leading off with one of my favorites, kayaking. Man, I know you like to kayak because you actually at one time had a kayak trailer specifically for kayak. Did you build that?
Well, kind of. Yeah. I mean, I bought one of the Harbor Freight kits and I modified it, built a rack, and
you kayakified it.
I kayakified it. Yeah.
Kayakified it. Okay. That's pretty cool. I've never had a kayak specific trailer. I've always looked at them and thought, man, that'd be cool, but I have other things I want to tote too. So it's not really something that I want to invest thousands of dollars in because it's got to be multi-purpose.
Yeah. Well, the good thing about the Harbor Freight trailers is a kit is like $280.
Yeah.
For their mid-size trailer.
Yeah. And
then from there, it's just a matter of what all you want to put on it.
Well, here's the deal. You, Tony from Bats Off-Road, you are a fabricator, and I am not. So, I've seen the trailer that you took from the one that should have been going to the trash heap and turned it into a truly modified overlanding trailer. Now, if I had done that, it would be put together with baling wire and duct tape. But you, sir, being the fabricator that you are, you have turned that into something that from hideous to amazing. I mean, you really did. I was trying to think of a word that rhymed with hideous, but I don't think there is one.
No, that's good.
Now kayaking, I really don't think that I've ever experienced anything so relaxing as kayaking. And I'm not talking about class 5 rapids. I'm not talking about class 4 and 5 rapids. One of my good friends that acquaintance that we have, Mo Escobar from Forerunning the Ozarks.
Yeah.
If you look at some of his pictures and stuff, now he's in the short kayaks with the helmet on, trying to go down the waterfalls and trying to kill himself. That's not what I'm talking about.
No.
I am a lazy river kind of guy. Yeah. And so, if I could go down to the Buffalo River or, the Kings River or whatever, someplace like that, and just sit in there and let the current take me and just sit there and stare at all the stuff and just have to paddle every now and then. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's what I like to do. Is that kind of up your alley too?
That's right up my alley. The ones where you can just float along and just sort of steer, but not go too fast so you can still fish.
Yeah. 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 I like, the rapids, you don't even feel them. You just see them.
Yeah.
That's kind of my kind of rapids.
Right.
Now we have, living in Arkansas, we have right in our backyard, the first ever national river. Yeah. And so I grew up in Arkansas. It's pretty much been my home pretty much my whole life. And hey, Bill Reed, we have a celebrity superstar in the house now. Come on.
Hey, Bill.
Bill, I tell you what, man, it made my heart pitter patter a little bit. Now, the first national river. So I grew up with paddling the Buffalo. Now we would only do like the great thing about the Buffalo River is it has a lot of put-ins and a lot of takeout. So you can put in and go 10 miles and take out. You can put in and go 20 miles and take out. There's a whole bunch of places that you can camp. There's places that you can put in and take out. So it is amazing. I really like it. And you can actually do it. You know, they have canoes that you can rent, so you can do it in a canoe. You can do it in a kayak. You can even do it in a whitewater raft. I would not recommend that. I got in one of those one time, and the water was not fast enough, and I had to paddle the whole time, and it was miserable.
Oh, Arla and I did that once with McKenna. We it was just the two of us, and it was awful.
Yeah, yeah. Bill says, "Sorry, it's been so long. Miss catching up with you all live, man. We appreciate you, Bill. Appreciate you being on here. It is a true honor to have you on here. Take time out of your day, as busy as you are, probably editing videos for Cottywomple Overland. If you do not subscribe to Cottywomple Overland on YouTube, you need to go do that right now, because you talk about some good people.
Good people. They got great videos coming out weekly. So
yeah, but depending on what you like to do, depends on what kind of kayak you might have. Now, I have seen the blow up inflatable kayaks. Now, they've gotten better over the years, but I remember I had to rescue somebody that was getting off a lake one time. It was a man and his girlfriend, and I mean, the kayak was folded up, you know, like a banana, and they were sitting in the middle just paddling as hard as they could, trying to get the heck out of Dodge. So it Richard says your backpacking gear can also use overnight camping on the Buffalo, and that is true. I love how some of the gear is being able to be swapped. So all my backpacking gear I can use for I can use on my adventure motorcycle, and I can also use on the overnight trips on the kayak. So that's really good. I don't have to buy a bunch of different separate gear to go on the different ones, even though I want to. I want to buy all the gear. I want all of it.
I know.
And Black Friday's coming, and there's going to be sales, and I'm going to buy something I don't need. I promise you.
Hey, have you gotten signed up with Midland Radio?
I have.
Their deal on Black Friday, y'all.
Tell everybody what that is.
Well, if you haven't done it yet, you need to go sign up. They got a deal on their Instagram page, or you can go to the bio on Bats Off Road Instagram page. Mm-hmm. But it's a link, and you go and you enter for some VIP discounts and a free gift on Black Friday.
Ooh, I like free. I like free.
You need to do that.
What kind of kayaks do you have, Tony?
Vibes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, are they sit on top or they sit inside?
On tops.
Oh, you're on tops. Okay. So you have on tops. Do you like the on tops?
Yes.
Okay. Why do you like the sit on top guy?
I don't know. I mean, I just I feel more comfortable in it, I guess. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, they sit differently than the ones you get down in. Mm-hmm. You know, this one is the one that I have is kind of I don't know, it's like 11 and a half feet. Okay. Golly, I can't remember the name of it right off the top of my head. It was a Vibe. My wife will come on here and tell me here shortly, I'm sure.
I'm sure she knows.
But she has a Vibe 10 and a half foot, but or 10 foot. So yeah.
Well, you know, when we camp a lot on the Buffalo River, and we sit there and just have a good time, you know, kick back. That one day we were watching the Razorback game that you were feeding down there through. But we get to see all the different kayaking rigs go by. You know, and we saw that one guy, he was in a canoe with his lawn chair. Actual lawn chair on there. We've seen people that have just stuff just mounded over. You know, they're on multi-day trips, and then you see people that just may have a cooler, and that's it. So you just don't know what people are going to have. Oh, Tate Davis from Overland Spices. What's up, Tate? Appreciate you being
in the house.
Love some Overland Spices. Overlandspices.com. Check them out. They do a great job and have some great products, and their hot sauces are. I love it,
dude. I need to get some.
Let me tell you, I promise you right now, if you got somebody in your family that loves hot sauces, go to Overland Spices right now and buy. They have a set of hot sauces, and that would be one of the greatest Christmas presents you could ever give them. That's what I gave my dad for Christmas last year, and he has loved it. Used them all, so I got them again for his birthday, which falls in July, so it's right in the middle. So I'm able to I'll probably do that again.
See, that's a good idea. I'm glad you brought that up because I know somebody.
Support small business and get good stuff for Christmas. That's what you got to do. So go to overlandspices.com.
I think I'm going to be giving hot sauce and trail rated coffee for Christmas.
I promise you, they will love it. They will absolutely love it. I placed me an order for trail rated coffee on Monday because they had a Veterans Day sale. And so I got some of the pour over things that come all in one deal where you pour it over and you throw it all away with no mess.
Yeah.
I got some of those. And then I got me a new hoodie because all my hoodies don't fit. And so I got me a new trail rated coffee hoodie. I'm excited.
Nice.
About that. Yeah. Now I have a sit inside kayak. I have a Bonafide EX123, which is an expedition kayak that I bought to do the whole Buffalo River, all 126 miles of it, in 2020 when they shut the national parks down. And so I wasn't able to go. So I've still got that on my bucket list. I am so pumped about that, but it's got storage places in the front, storage places in the back, places for fishing poles and all that other stuff. And I'm real excited about getting that thing in the water. But you can fish out of it. You can float out of it. You can do it. But one thing you have to think about when you're getting kayaks is how do you carry them? So now that you don't have your kayak trailer, how do you carry your kayaks?
I actually haven't taken them out this year since I built the Gladiator. So we have the Rhino Rack kayak carriers that we would probably transport them on Arla's Jeep. On her roof rack. It's probably where we would do it.
That's cool.
So I don't know. I've got to think about that a little bit. And when we go, I'll have to come up with a plan on how to haul mine.
Definitely, because you got to get it there. You know, it's one of the things. You can have a kayak all day long, but if you don't have a way to transport it, then that becomes an issue. And you know, if you have a soft shell rooftop tent, you're not able to carry it on top, or if you just strap it down and don't care, I guess you can. But this year I've got the hard shell Kabari, which has a rack on top of it, and I've just installed my kayak carriers on top of that. So I'm pretty excited about doing that. Even talked to Aaron at Artemis about picking up a hard shell tent to put on my trailer to carry my kayaks on the trailer, which is really what I want to do. Yeah. And so you may see my trailer at Artemis on December the 3rd, 4th?
Yes.
Rigs
December
and Coffee
3rd.
up there. You may see it getting a new tent.
Really?
You may see it getting a new 23-0 hard shell tent. December 3rd. Yeah, December 3rd. So yes, it'll be there. The trailer will be there. And you may see it get a tent. So yeah.
Okay.
We'll see about that. So we talked about that a little bit at Rendezvous. So I'm pretty pumped about that, actually.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet. That's pretty awesome.
So do you have any dream trips you'd like to go on kayaking? Do you have any rivers you want to float in your kayaks?
Well, I mean, I've been on the Buffalo, just like sections of it, but I've never, like you mentioned earlier, I've never been, done the whole thing, start to finish.
Yeah.
So that's always been something I've kind of been interested in. There's the Kings River. I've never been on the Kings River, so
me either.
I want to do the Kings River.
You know what really intrigues me about the Kings River? It flows north.
Yeah.
And that doesn't make any sense to me.
No.
With the way that the earth is shaped, and we're kind of on you think that gravity would just pull it down, but I guess, you know what? The earth may be flat.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah. Kings River Falls, huh, Misty? Experiencing Arkansas. Yeah. Yeah. How are you planning on getting it up there?
Well, I do have a step ladder. I do have a
Okay.
step ladder, so I'll have to use it. I also have one of the Rhino Rack steps that hooks to your tire
Yeah.
that I can use it to get up there. So I think I can bench press it over my head. We'll see. I may need some help. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. But,
Well, you know, Joe and Misty may be living in Jasper here in a few weeks. So maybe I don't know. That's the other thing. You know, you may have that in your plans to talk here, but the transporting and then the pickup, shuttling, the back and forth. Where do you do all that? So
that's the good thing about doing the Buffalo River from start to finish. You start in Ponca. So Ponca is the headwaters.
Yeah.
For the Buffalo National River, if you want to do it start to finish. But the good thing about it is if you have communications through a Garmin or something like that, if the weather gets bad, you can call for help and they can pick you up at any point. So there's points about every 10 miles, but you end up at the White River, all the way at the end of the White River. So, if you have communication, you can have somebody pick you up. But that's the plan, to do it from, and depending on how high the river is, it could take anywhere from, I've heard people doing it in 3.5 days all the way up to 7 days.
Yeah.
And so it depends on how far you can go. So I've got it mapped out. I've got it plotted on a Garmin, and then I'm able to put my Garmin on there to see how far we've gone, to make sure, if you want to do it 5 days, you have to do at least like 24 miles a day. And so if you want to do 24 miles a day, you have to make sure you do 24 miles a day. So you have to plot it. And so I've got all that done. I've got all of it ready. So that's doing that. Now, if you want to experience other rivers, a great resource to have, and if you've never seen this, southwestpaddler.com is one of the best resources for rivers in the Southwest. So it's got New Mexico, Missouri, Arkansas, Texas, maybe Kentucky, Louisiana, I don't know, but all around in that area, this guy has went on there and put together a list of all the rivers that you can float, the put-ins, the takeouts, gives you some highlights of each one, maps of each one. It is a excellent resource. Southwestpaddler.com is a great resource for that. And I actually go there a lot. Experiencing Arkansas, I need a new set of legs to get a kayak on my rooftop tent. Yeah. Missy says Joe's been looking for some people to do a multi-day kayak and camping trip. Pick me. I love me some Joe. Yes. So we may be hollering at Joe about going on that trip with us in March, and see if we can't pull that off. Now, if you don't have a kayak, you can always rent a canoe. And I'm a pretty good fan of canoes. I've done a lot of canoeing, on the Buffalo and other rivers as well. But have you done much canoeing in your life?
When I was a kid, we did. My dad he loved canoeing, so that's basically, all of my experience was as a kid riding in the canoe with dad and his friends and camping. We camped a few times, and so yeah.
Now this past August, I was very fortunate to be able to be invited to go on a trip to the Boundary Waters canoe area. And I had mentioned several times to David, who brought me up there, about bringing my kayak up there. And he's like, man, this ain't no kayak place. This is a canoe place. They call it the canoe area. They don't call it the kayak area. It's the BWCA, the Boundary Waters canoe area. I was like, that's an official thing. You're just hating on kayaks,
right?
Yeah, it's funny because you go down to Ely where you can rent everything and you can rent canoes. Oh my gosh, look at all the kayaks you can rent. And I had to rub that in a little bit, but everybody there, pretty much everybody that we saw had a canoe. Now, canoes can get really expensive. And so the canoes that we had were just, plain Jane, about 65 pound. They weren't Kevlar or anything like that, but you can get Kevlar. You can get ones that are carved out of wood. And we went in this place and I saw these canoes, and I really have not been into canoes until I went up there, but they have canoes that weigh this whole canoe. It was 23 pounds.
Oh,
The whole
God.
thing was 23 pounds. And I thought, now I know how all these guys are able to portage their canoes a mile on carrying on their backs down this trail to get to the next lake. Yeah, because it don't weigh nothing. I mean, that's not even a sack of corn feed for deer. I mean, that's just, holy cow, that's nothing. So that was pretty cool. But I loved it up there. You know, and all these years that we've been overlanding, camping, or whatever, the North has never really been even in my spectrum of looking at places to go, because I'm a mountain kind of guy. I like the views. I like to see the mountains. I like the red dirt out in the West. And, you know, I like going to the East. There's mountains out East. But as far as going to the North, it's never really been on my radar until this year. And, you know, he talked to me about the Boundary Waters, and what just happened there? How'd that work? What happened there? That was weird. What'd you do?
I didn't know it would do that on your end.
That's pretty crazy. You made a swap. But anyway, going up there, the cabin was right on one of the lakes, and we were able to go back and put in right behind, you know, the house, and we were able to go out there and fish and paddle around. But we actually went and put in another lake. We portaged. We carried the canoes right at a mile. I think it was 0.92 miles. And then we fished this lake, and then we portaged to another lake. And then we had to bring all of our stuff back. So you actually had to make 2 trips. You'd have to carry all your stuff, come back and get the kayak or the canoe, and then carry the canoe. So you make 2 trips pretty much on everything. But it was really neat. It was up in the Superior National Forest. So beautiful up there. And the people that work for the Forest Service up there have put 3 campsites on every lake. So they have a map of every lake. They show you where the campsites are. And every campsite has a place to pull your canoe up. They have a place to, they have a flat spot for either a tent or a hammock with a fire ring. And it was really cool because all the fire rings had a grate, and the grate said Superior National Forest. And then you walk up a little path, and they all have a pit toilet. So, I mean, you have everything that you need. It was really, really neat.
Wow.
And they keep them, you know, updated. They keep the grass mowed and all this other stuff. And I was very impressed. And there are 1,000 lakes up there, the land of 1,000 lakes. So you can go an endless amount of time and never see the same place in 2 days in a row. I mean, you can go all the way up into Canada. And the cool part about that area is it butts up to the Canadian Quetico National Forest. So you have thousands and thousands and thousands of miles where there's nothing but lakes and trails and lakes and trails and lakes and trails and lakes and trails. You could be up there and never see another person the rest of your life. It is so neat, and I fell in love. I loved it.
Wow.
And talking about bucket list places, I want to go back there. I'm definitely going back there. My friend who invited me to go last time, David, is retiring in January, and he's going to be up there for a month at a time. Told me I could come up there anytime I wanted, and I am definitely going back. Now, the summers are very short. You know, when we were up there in August, it was 70s during the day, 40s at night. So, I mean, it was, and then in September, it started getting 50s during the day, 30s at night, and now it's like frozen. So, you know, the summers are very short. Summers are very short. You know, you have a very small window of time that you're able to go up there. So I'm really, they say, when do we go? Experience in Arkansas. I'm hoping to go back again 1st of August. I'm hoping to go back again 1st of August because that seemed to be the perfect time. They said right before we went up there, it was raining a lot, and it only rained for one afternoon. We were there for a full week, for a full 6 days. And it only rained one afternoon. It was sunny, beautiful, almost every day. And, you know, the mosquitoes were pretty bad during the day, but mosquitoes reacted very well to thermocells. So we had thermocells on pretty much all day, and they didn't bother us. Bald eagles everywhere. Fishing was amazing. We caught probably 35 pike and about 15 or 20 walleye, and we cooked them up every day, and they were just
good eating, wasn't it?
So good.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, so good. Now I was invited to go back up there next week. I'm not able to go, but they're going grouse hunting and ice fishing. And so I hate I'm gonna miss out on that, because grouse, I would love to have a whole freezer full of those.
Right.
To go in my new freezer. But
yeah.
Anyway. But again, you can look on, if you're into canoeing, you can look up on Southwest Paddler, southwestpaddler.com. And there's also a website. I didn't put it up here, but it's bwca.com. So it's boundarywaterscanoearea.com. And it has all the maps, has all the different places you can go, Superior National Forest information. So check out bwca.com.
Now there's a couple of guys that have YouTube channels that do some of their videos are based on their canoe kayak trips. Mm-hmm. One of them here locally has done the Buffalo. What's he called? Was it the Bearded Burton?
Bearded Burton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They woke up and had water up to their tent.
Yeah.
In one of their videos, it rained upstream or something. And
yeah, I'm really leery about camping on the ground next to the river, especially the Buffalo River, because it rises and falls so quickly, and it may not rain where you are. It could rain above you, and then you never know it, and the water will rise. So,
that's why I was bringing it up. Yeah, that's why I was bringing it up. As I was going to ask you, what are you planning on using for your? Are you going to hammock?
I'm on hammock. Yeah. I'm on hammock. Okay. I have rigged me up. I've got a tarp that goes over the top of my hammock that'll keep everything dry. And then what I attach my tarp to, I watched a video. A guy made one, and so he had some nylon line, and he pulled it tight, and he attached carabiners about every foot or so you can hang all of your stuff up, so nothing has to stay on the ground.
Yeah.
And so that way, if the water does come up, none of your stuff will get wet or anything like that. So that's my outfit when I do that.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. My buddy Michael got me a nice hammock set up with a rain fly. Mm-hmm. He got for me last year, and I haven't had a chance to use it yet, so I'm kind of saving it for that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. You'll definitely want to get you some dry bags for any of that. Make sure everything's kept in a dry bag, and you want to get something to attach your phone to your body.
Yes.
So
I've got all
things I highly recommend.
Yeah, I've got all that stuff. My phone and my wallet, it'll be attached to me. I've got some dry bags. I've got to figure out how I'm going to keep some of my fishing gear attached, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a thing, but
I don't know. We'll figure all that out, but I'm pretty excited about that. But I love the water and love going out on the water. One of the things that I don't have, but I want to have and I will have, is a paddleboard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I see Kara all the time going out on Beaver Fork Lake with her paddleboard, doing that as part of her exercise routine. Now she has an inflatable one. So, the inflatable ones have really taken off, and I was shocked. The first time, it was probably 2 years ago, I was at a boat show, and one of the kayak companies there had an inflatable kayak, and I thought it was a regular paddleboard. But it was actually an inflatable paddleboard. I had no idea those things get as hard as what they do. It's crazy.
Yeah.
How hard they get. And I mean, there's no bow in them whatsoever if you sit on them. And Boat Boards, BOTE, Boat Boards, has come up with some of the coolest paddleboards I've ever seen. They make some with seats. They make some with pedals, like the pedal kayaks that you can put down in there. They make stand-up things where you can lean on, and they have fishing pole attachments, and I mean all kinds of stuff. They are really, really cool.
I'm gonna have to check that out. I was like, I don't know if I'm understanding on.
They make it. They have it where you can make it. You can use it just like a paddleboard, where you're standing up and paddling, or you can put a seat on it and put this the pedal thing in there where you pedal it around like a I don't know, like a pedal kayak. It's neat, and it has a rudder and everything. You can steer it. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And you put it all in a bag.
I think I'm going to be good with my kayak. I'll stick with that.
I just would like to have a paddleboard because they're very compact. I'd like to have one that's inflatable so I can just throw it in my trailer and carry it everywhere I go. But you know, if you get up and you're base camping, like up in say Ouray, and you want to go up over California Pass, and you're like, hey, you know what? There is a glacier lake at the top of California Pass. So right when you go over California Pass, there's a glacier lake.
Yeah.
And you know that thing is clear like crazy. And I would
cold.
love to be able to just park there, inflate that kayak, and go out on it. And you know, I think that would be so cool. I've never done that before. I want to do that. So anyway, being able to have something like that, take it everywhere you go. That's kind of the whole idea of what we're kind of talking about, is being able to explore and see the place in a whole new aspect.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That sounds pretty cool to me. I think it'd be awesome. Gen Xer says Kokopelli is the brand that Kira uses. We looked at them at the Loveland Expo, and they are very impressive. So Kokopelli is the brand that she has.
Thank you.
I know she goes that well. Yeah. Now, there's a lot of ways to use a paddleboard, you know, not just for exercise, but there are a lot of people who do this on a lot recreationally. And so there has been some things that have been put out there about the top 10 places in the United States to take your paddleboard. You know, they list places like the Colorado River, the Snake River in Wyoming. There's Lake Tahoe, the Keys. There was one picture I saw of somebody paddleboarding in a lake just outside the Tetons with the Tetons in the background. I mean, just outrageous. And so if you want to look up some of these, one of the references I found was SUP Board Guide. So it's Stand Up Paddleboard boardguide.com. And they have a lot of resources, different places that you can go, top 10 destinations in the United States. So that's pretty stinking cool. And I'm not sure that I have a bucket list on this, like where I want a paddleboard. But when I was looking at this list that they had, every one of them, I was like, yeah, I want to do that. Yeah, I want to do that. I want to do that. So,
so
I plan to get one.
Isn't there a river just across the state line in Missouri that's it kind of goes underground? Is it Spring River
River. Yeah.
Is that what it is? Okay.
I think so. Spring River.
Would that be kind of cool?
I think so, because the rapids on it are not bad. A lot of people do it like as a casual float. So I think there's quite a few people.
That'd be all right.
They get out there and do this. We've interviewed Lindsay Bond. I know she gets out there and does a lot of stand-up paddleboarding. The Brandon Waters has got a stand-up paddleboard. So I know quite a few people that have gotten out there and used it. So that's definitely something that's on my list, what I want to get. So
yes,
it's down the road, but I'm going to have one. We'll see. Now, probably the last thing that we'll throw in there would be whitewater rafting. Now, this is not something that you're going to take with you. This would be something like a destination where you would go and rent a raft and then go with a group or something like that. Now, have you ever done any of that, Tony?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Where have you been at? You remember?
Yeah, it was when we went to
Tennessee.
We went to Tennessee to not Dollywood, but right there, Pigeon Forge.
Pigeon Forge, yeah.
So we went to Pigeon Forge one year and camped there for July 4th holiday week-ish. And we went one day, we went rafting, and I think there was some class 4. There was a couple of class 4s.
Yeah.
But it was mostly 2 and 3s. But it was just like 30 or 45 minutes east on the interstate, right off the interstate. And
did you enjoy it?
Mostly.
Yeah.
Mostly enjoyed it, except for the lady that was sitting next to me almost died.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was scary there for about 10 seconds. But what happened is our guide turned us around, and we were doing this thing where we go up to where the water breaks over the fall, and they were doing this thing where you go in and you kind of surf, and it's a fun thing. And I was in the front next to this lady, and well, we got too close, and it pulled the front of the raft under, and it sucked her off, and she went under. Like she disappeared.
Yeah.
And it was, it was just really, really.
That's kind of like one of them oh crap moments. Now
yeah, it was oh crap. Well, and so we started drifting back, and she popped up next to the boat, and the guide jumped from the back of the boat to the middle, reached down, grabbed her by her life jacket, and just yanked her plumb out of the water. It was the most amazing thing. Saved her life. I mean, it was just her life, huh? Yeah. Anyway, awesome. So that was my only experience. Well, yeah, really my only experience with whitewater rafting.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I've done it a couple times when I was doing college ministry. Took a group to Buena Vista, and we rafted the Arkansas River in Colorado, and it was an overnight trip. It was like a 28-mile trip or something like that. Had mostly class 2s and 3s, but had a few class 4s on it. And we got to sleep right on the edge of the river, and it was such an amazing experience. It was so fun. I didn't realize how cold the river was. And we got to this one place, where it was just a slow pool, and the guide, it was actually a college girl that we had. Her name was Reese. I'll never forget her. And she said, all right, if anybody wants to jump in, now's the time. And I just leaped in the water. And it felt like all my skin had been ripped off. You know how cold that water is, and it just feels like you just ripped all the skin off of you. And I came up, and I bet it took me a minute to catch my breath. I was like, "Oh my! You didn't tell me this water was 28 degrees." I mean, it was so stinky cold. But I've never felt cleaner in all my life. But,
yeah, I bet.
And then we did in 2009, we went with some friends to Moab, and we actually floated the Colorado River in Utah. So I did the Arkansas River in Colorado, and then I did the Colorado River in Utah. And the Colorado River is like muddy and gross, and it's red, from all the red clay. Yeah. And didn't really like it that much, so I probably wouldn't go back and do that one again. Now the Arkansas River was awesome. And I did do, like I said earlier, the Buffalo River in a raft, and it was awful.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have the current carrying you one of those are not made to go fast, and they're not made to move. They're made to float. Yeah. And so you got to be in some moving water. But it was so much fun. I really had a great time. So if you get out to a place if you go to Tennessee or Colorado or any place like that has whitewater rafting, I would highly recommend looking one of those places up. The place that we went with that I absolutely loved was Noah's Ark. Is what it was called, out of Buena Vista. We actually camped in like the big Western tents that had wood floors, Western tents right on the river.
Was it a yurt?
It was kind of like a yurt before yurts existed. So this was still like yurt. It was like the old square tent.
I got you. Yeah.
Such a cool thing, and I would highly recommend you doing that at least once in your lifetime, because that's something definitely that you would love, especially if you love the outdoors. Now, all the things that we've talked about in the last 3 different episodes, I love them all. I pretty much have loved them all. Now, we haven't covered some things that we haven't done, like, I don't do a lot of rock climbing. My fingers aren't very strong, and I have arthritis a little bit, so rock climbing's out for me. Now, rappelling, that's pretty fun. I've done a little bit of that.
I've never rappelled.
Never rappelled. Skydived, never skydive. It's on my list. I want to do it one day before I die.
It's probably not on my list. It's probably not on my list.
Not on your list?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, to each his own.
I got plenty of things.
I want to be that guy that's strapped to somebody that knows what they're doing. And so, because if I'm going down, you're going down with me, buddy. I mean, because you're the one that knows what you're doing. So I'll jump out of an airplane attached to somebody. But I'm not one. I don't like I'm okay with heights, but I don't like edges. So I'll be okay as long as I'm out of the plane, but getting out of the plane, I don't know if I could do it.
Yeah. It would, my body would not cooperate.
It would not. I'd be hanging on. I'd be the one that had the death grip on the side of that plane. You know, I'm not going.
You know, though, what I think is really cool is those guys that wear the suits.
Yes, the flying suits.
That fly.
Yeah.
That is so stinking cool.
I love seeing that on Instagram where they show those guys out in like New Zealand and stuff, and they jump off those really high cliffs, and you can see them going down through the trees and stuff like that.
I don't know how those guys get their pants on.
I don't know.
I mean, that is just incredible to me.
It's incredible. You know, it's pretty cool. Not something I would ever do.
No.
I can't imagine doing that for the first time. We haven't talked about hang glide. Now, that's not a lot of people get into that. I have watched them do it off Mount Nebo, which that's really neat to do.
Yeah, it's neat.
We haven't talked about a lot of that stuff, but we have talked about stuff that we like to do. I love the kayaking, love the floating. I love the backpacking and things like that. So we have just talked about things that we like to do while we're overlanding. And I think it's been very rewarding to me to actually study this stuff and share it with everybody. I hope it's been rewarding to you.
Yeah.
Now, Gen Xer says we went down the Colorado using the, I don't know what that word is, Hualapai River. Hualapai River Runners, seeing the Grand Canyon from the bottom. Top 5 things we've ever done. There you go. The Colorado River running through the Grand Canyon. Now that I would do. I think that's cool.
Is that one of those super souped
That's
up?
one of them fast boats.
Fast boats that runs up the river?
Yeah.
Ooh, now that would be fun.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Because you get to see things from a whole different perspective. That's why I like drones. Because you're seeing the same thing from a completely different perspective. So if you're, you know, everything that you do at the Grand Canyon, unless you're hiking around the donkeys down to the bottom, you're seeing from the top.
Yeah.
Now, if you do the river runners through on the Colorado River, you're seeing everything from the bottom to the top. So it's a whole different perspective. I love that. I think that would be amazing. Oh, he said it was a raft with a motor. Okay.
Well, that'd still be fun.
I think that'd be awesome. But, you know, sometimes the things we do requires a little bit of investigating, digging into the area where you'll be and seeing what there is to do and to see. So that's kind of what we've wanted to spark in everybody is kind of research where you're going and see what there is to see. Try to see things, do things that help you see the area from a different perspective. Don't miss out on something. Don't miss out on memories because you're set on whatever you do, the same thing every time, or you're set on being away from everybody. You know, I'm kind of that way. I kind of want to get away from people, and I kind of want to just set up my little campsite in the middle of nowhere with a good view and stay there for a few days.
Yeah.
But experience everything you can while you're out and about. Take it all in. That's what it is about living your best life. So that's kind of what we wanted to spark in everybody. Give some, you know, ways that you can to see everything, and, you know, give our bucket list or websites that you can go to research some of these things. And that's kind of what we wanted to do. And it's been very enjoyable to me. So I hope you all got something out of it. Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing is, you know, I've learned about so many places to go and things to do and gear and experiences because others have taken the time to share their experiences. It's inspired me to go and do and see those same things. And I just hope that, I can inspire others the way that I've been inspired. So
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Well, it's been an amazing time. It's been an amazing show. We appreciate everybody who came on here with us and joined us for this show. Now, next week, we'll let you know if we're going to be here, but Tony will be in Florida. I'll be in New Mexico. We'll see if we can get together. If not, then we'll join you the week after next. But
yes, sir.
On behalf of Tony and myself, we appreciate you all. Hope you get out and live your best life, and hope you take in a few of the things that we have offered up this week, last week, and the week before, and every episode before then, and live out your best life. Look out for number 1.
Join us next next week.
Same bat time, same bat channel. Boom.
Professor and Friends 2022. Woo-woo. Thank you for watching.
It's your Professor and Bats with Friends. Yeah.
Professor, Bats and Friends.
The Professor, Bats and Friends.
Professor.